Hey everybody, this is Essential TV Live and Binge This for the month of June. We have a lot to talk about in the world of movies and television, so stay tuned, share, tell a friend, like, and comment. Let me know what it is you're looking forward to this month, or if there's anything we missed, because we can talk for a very long time. Ben will attest to that, but we can't possibly cover everything. So, thanks for joining. I'm Luke Watson, and this is Essential TV. First, before I get to the movies and TV shows that you need to be watching this month, couple pieces of news. Breaking news, The Punisher on Netflix apparently has a date, or at least a month. One of the directors of one of the episodes of the series had let slip in an interview that the show was supposed to be out before Christmas and indicated that it may be out as soon as November. So for those of us that are really excited about Jon Bernthal's standalone Punisher Netflix series, November sounds like it's going to be the month. Violet Vampire just watched Animal Kingdom. Let me know how it is. I haven't watched it yet, but I keep seeing the advertisements. And Bone and Ronin, new Al Gore movie. I believe that is under the genre of tragedy. All right, so other news that just broke, also in the Netflix world, Sense8, the Netflix original series, has been canceled. Season 2 just came out, and you know what? It's gone. Violet Vampire says Animal Kingdom is good. The previews look good. I might have to check it out. But yeah, Sense8 has been canceled. It is one of the rare Netflix series to be canceled. But Reed Hastings, the CEO of Netflix, has come out and said recently, and not specifically about Sense8, but regarding the way they cancel shows, he said, our hit ratio is way too high right now, okay? That's a good thing. You have too many hits. But he wants them to push the content envelope and take more risks. And what he's saying is if they don't cancel shows, that means they're not trying enough experimental new content pushing things forward, because you don't reinvent an industry without making some mistakes. So anyway, expect some more cancellations on Netflix. All right, so moving on to the regularly scheduled news, Baywatch has bombed, or shall I say it drowned. Yes, I saw this movie. No, I didn't pay money for it. I went to an advanced screening. It's not that funny. So what does this prove? It proves that not even The Rock can save a movie that really has no purpose in being. This is a movie that desperately wanted to be 21 Jump Street, and it just fell short. So I would say save your money, but you already did. You already know better. All right, so other new news. This just came out like yesterday. Sin City. There is a Sin City TV series in early development, right? So what I mean by that is there's no TV network commitment or anything like that, but this is something that's being shopped around. Glenn Mazzara, whose name you might recognize if you are a Walking Dead fan. He is one of the creatives behind this. He was the second showrunner of The Walking Dead after Frank Darabont was unceremoniously let go. He would be the guy that took over during the second season and carried it through, I think, to the beginning of the third season. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but a Sin City TV series makes a lot of sense whenever you consider that literally everything that has ever been a successful movie now becomes a TV series. So hopefully it comes to, like, I don't know, HBO or Starz or someone that can really, Violet Vampire says Amazon or Netflix, absolutely. I classify all of these networks together because they all do it right and they all allow for pushing the envelope, as Reed Hastings at Netflix wants to do. So Reed, this is for you. All right. So another thing that you may have missed, Batman and Harley Quinn. This is an animated feature-length movie that's coming out. And if you're not listening to the podcast, if you're watching the stream right now, you will see that this is like some Batman the Animated Series era artwork. This is the Harley Quinn we know from that show, which is where the character was born. And DC is capitalizing on her popularity now that she's such a mainstream character. So yes, there's a Batman and Harley Quinn feature-length animated film coming out, Kevin Conroy does reprise his role as Batman. So you get the classic Batman voice. I believe the classic Nightwing voice is back, and it is a different voice for Harley Quinn. It's actually Melissa Rauch from The Big Bang Theory. So she'll be familiar, but a little different. So you're going to get more Harley Quinn because DC knows how to milk a popular character. All right, Castlevania on Netflix. The first teaser came out for this animated series that is an adaptation of the classic video game, and it looks awesome. The people behind this have said that this will be the best adaptation of a video game ever made. Now, of course, they're going to say that because it's their project, but it is going to be R-rated, it's going to be violent, it's going to be vampire slaying from the Belmont clan. It looks pretty good. I'm excited about this, and yeah, I hope that it lives up to the boast that it will be the best video game adaptation, and there's not a whole lot of competition. All right, The Dark Crystal prequel series. Again, everything that was a movie is now a TV show. This is coming to Netflix. A teaser came out, so this is going to be a series, a prequel series, takes place before the Dark Crystal movie. Obviously, this is, if you are familiar, the Jim Henson puppets and fantasy movie world. It looks pretty interesting. The movie's a classic, and there are simply not enough puppets on television, so I'm all in favor of this. Kong versus Godzilla has found a director. That was very lifelike, Ben. You should do that for a living. You know, pretend to be Godzilla or King Kong, either way. They both roar. So this has a director now, and his name is Adam Wingard. He is the guy that recently directed the Blair Witch movie, the new Blair Witch movie, the one that bombed that you probably already forgot about. Good for you, Adam Wingard. You got another job. It's not easy in Hollywood after your movie bombs, but maybe you lined this up behind the scenes before that was the writing on the wall. Violet Vampire says it should be more like the Kong movie. Yes, I agree, because Godzilla was a terrible movie, and Kong Skull Island was thoroughly enjoyable. So I'm actually a little irritated that they are so quickly mashing up these two franchises, but cinematic universes, everyone. Gotta have them, because everyone else does. So, yeah, he's also the guy that's adapting Death Note for Netflix. So he has some good projects on the table. So listen, I hope it's good. I liked Kong Skull Island. I just somehow managed to stay awake through the Godzilla movie, and we'll see. Crossing my fingers. Yes, Ben says Netflix Cinematic Universe. Netflix, you know what? Netflix is probably the only big company that doesn't have their own cinematic universe, but all they have to do is tie in House of Cards and Orange is the New Black, and it's done. Just give them another couple seasons to milk it. What's a king to a god, our friend Bonin Ronan says. It's a better movie. All right. So, if you did not see it, the first, in the US at least, the first Marvel ride at Disney has opened. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. If you're looking at the visual and you're thinking, wait a second, that looks familiar, that's because it used to be the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. And they totally rehabbed it because if you are younger than me, you've never watched the Twilight Zone. And you're too busy on the Snapchats to watch good things. So anyway, it is no longer Twilight Zone themed, it is now Guardians of the Galaxy themed. I'm torn on this because I really want to see more Marvel rides at Disney amusement parks, but Twilight Zone is one of those cultural landmarks that you will never do better than that. Twilight Zone is one of the pinnacles of human achievement, and it has now been washed away for a generation. And Bone and Ronan, Twilight Zone was the best ride. I actually never got to ride on it, and you know, now it's going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. It is still a drop tower, Earwig is asking. It's basically the same ride, except now they've redone it so all the decor and the theme and what you watch is all Guardians of the Galaxy related. So Ben says that he touched Rod Serling's Emmys. When and where and how did you do that, Ben? I find that hard to believe.
He chilled at my school and gave them the Emmys.
Really?
And they were cleaning the thing, and I was like, "Can I touch one?" And they're like, "That's a weird thing to ask." And then I did.
Well, all right. Well, that's pretty impressive.
He's dead now.
I am aware he's dead. So he was there?
He taught classes.
Rod Serling?
Yeah, at Ithaca.
Really?
Not anymore.
I should have gone to Ithaca.
Would not have worked at the time either.
All right. So whose Emmy haven't you touched? Bone and Ronan asks.
Everyone that's not Rod Serling or Al Roker.
There you go. It's a wide gamut. All right. So anyway, this ride is at Disney's California Adventure. And it's actually, a lot of people are saying it's the first Marvel ride. That's not accurate. The first Marvel ride at a Disney amusement park was the Iron Man experience in Hong Kong. So technically it's the second, but it's the first in the US. So it's the first that I might actually go to. So anyway, lines were crazy. If you did get a chance to ride this, let me know how it was. Wonder Woman, right? Okay. This is going to be the big movie this weekend and probably for the next few weeks. Wonder Woman, big news about Wonder Woman. The Alamo Drafthouse has held women-only screenings, which of course ruffled some feathers. There's a prominent far-right media personality who I won't name because he doesn't deserve to be named. They just do it for attention. He has filed a civil rights complaint saying that he tried to buy a ticket to the female-only screening of Wonder Woman and couldn't get in because you poor dude, you're just having your rights trampled everywhere you go. You gotta have everything. You gotta have a Wonder Woman screening. Why can't there be men-only Wonder Woman screenings, people like this say. Yeah, so anyway, this is a thing that happened, and and he also filed a complaint about Carson Daly because Carson Daly advocated for this screening on the Today Show. So if this sounds like familiar behavior, that might be because this is the same guy that claimed that Rogue One added, in their reshoots, added anti-Donald Trump scenes and called for a boycott. If anyone saw Rogue One, I know I did, and I certainly don't remember any anti-Donald Trump scenes. So I take this about as seriously as I take that. But anyway, go ahead. Don't go to Wonder Woman. More room for the rest of us. Oh, and Vowed Vampire also points out, this is the other big news, it got banned in Lebanon. So, and this is because Gal Gadot was formerly in the Israeli military and socio-political international intrigue and calamities. So you can't have good things. You can't have Wonder Woman. The reviews are fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it because I'm an American and I'm a dude, so I'll wait and go to a screening that is dude-friendly. All right, Tila Toy is back. Hello to you as well. Ben, I won't watch it because I'm anti-Wonder. All right, so this movie, it actually hits theaters tonight here in New York, and so expect to be hearing lots of things about it in the next few days. It will destroy the box office. This is the first DC Comics, in this current wave of extended universe movies, the first DC Comics movie that is actually getting a great critical response. So good thing. I'll be there. Okay, if Wonder Woman isn't the superhero for you, you have another option. Captain Underpants comes out this weekend. So this is the adaptation of the popular kids book series. This hits theaters also tonight or this weekend. And next week is one that I've been looking forward to, The Mummy. No, Brendan Fraser, not you, the other mummy. Give me some Tom Cruise love. Give me some Tom Cruise love. So this is actually the new Mummy movie. This is Mummy Impossible. Brendan Fraser, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But this is coming out next week. So we'll see if The Mummy and the Universal Monsters Dark Universe, cinematic universe, can actually give Wonder Woman a run for her money. And I don't know. This is going to be a real test because Universal with their Dark Universe, their extended universe with all the old classic monsters being rehabbed for the modern age, has had a lot of starts and stops. This is the reboot because the other earlier attempts did not take. You had Dracula Untold. You had The Wolfman. I don't know if the Frankenstein movie with Aaron Eckhart was part of this franchise, but anyway, they just can't get it right. But anyway, Tom Cruise. They've invested in Tom Cruise. Hopefully they get it right. What happened to R-rated comedies, Violet Vampire asks. Well, Baywatch was an R-rated comedy, and see, the thing about R-rated comedies is they have to actually be funny. They can't just be R-rated. But of course, when something like Baywatch fails, a lot of people will look at it and say, well, I guess we can't do R-rated comedies. And they just don't look at it as for all the other failures. Tom Cruise loves to run, Bone and Ronan says. Yes. He also loves stunt work in airplanes and on buildings. All right. So then later this month, we have on the 16th, 47 Meters Down. This is a movie about people being trapped in a shark cage, so that should be nice and claustrophobic. We have also on the 16th, Cars 3, because how much mileage can you put on these things? It's time to trade them in, guys. Tila Toy says, I miss Joe. We all miss Joe. Hopefully he's back soon. He's been working on some big projects. And we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones in the very near future because winter is coming. So be prepared. All right, and let's see, what else do we have? This is an interesting one. On the 19th, Resident Evil Vendetta. This is not the live-action Resident Evil movie franchise. Apparently, I was not aware of this. They've been doing CGI-only Resident Evil movies because this is the third. And it is coming out through Fathom Events. Super limited run, it's a one-night only thing for the fans. And then I'm sure it hits all the streaming services and Blu-ray and all that. But that comes out on the 19th. So if you want something that is more faithful to the Resident Evil video games, this is the ticket, but one night only. On the 23rd, this is the next big blockbuster, Transformers: The Last Night. Now, why am I excited about Transformers: The Last Night? Mainly because they're saying it's Michael Bay's last Transformers movie. I've heard that before. I'll believe it when I see it. But supposedly that is the case, and this will be the one that sets up spin-offs and extended universes, and I sense a theme. I sense a theme in Hollywood. So Violet Vampire, is this the last? This is supposedly the last Michael Bay, supposedly. They're actually working on the Bumblebee spin-off already. Haley Steinfeld is supposedly up for the lead human role in that. We'll see. There will be a Hasbro Cinematic Universe. And Michael Bay is the guy building the foundation with this movie. So you have that to look forward to. The next week, the 30th, the end of the month, something I'm actually very excited for, Despicable Me 3. This movie looks really good, and it comes out the end of the month. So between Captain Underpants, Cars 3, and Despicable Me 3, there are a lot of kids' movies to see this month. All right, Violet Vampire. Michael Bay killed Transformers for me. I agree. I agree with that. I can't enjoy them. I cannot enjoy these movies. I've tried. Okay, so that is June, but big movie, July 7th. I feel like I just need to get this out of the way. I need to put it out there because it is a big one. The next huge movie after Wonder Woman is Spider-Man: Homecoming. So this comes out on July 7th. My question is, all these movies, all the DC, all the Marvel, you know, DC's better than Marvel, Marvel's better than DC, you know, Disney's paying you for good reviews, like all that nonsense, all this fanboy stuff. Wonder Woman getting so many great critical reviews. Wouldn't it be an amazing surprise if Wonder Woman ends up being great and Spider-Man: Homecoming is a disappointment? I'm not hoping that it is a disappointment. I don't think it will be a disappointment. It looks very good, but it would be a great surprise if Wonder Woman exceeds expectations and Spider-Man does not live up to it. So we'll see. That would certainly be the turning point for the DC Extended Universe. Why no Spider-Woman, Ben asks. Give it time. I assure you there will be a Spider-Woman movie. Comedian Micah, man, I don't care to see Wonder Woman. Well, Just wait until some of the reviews are really out, because right now there's an embargo, so they can't go into details. All they're saying is it's very good, it's very enjoyable. You might change your mind after we start to hear specifics. And Smiley says Spider-Woman would be cool. And Sony is going to try to build a Spider-Verse out of the characters they've not given back to Marvel, and Spider-Woman is one of those characters. So I think it's virtually a sure thing. Black Widow, will there be a... No, I don't know if that's a joke. Guzman says Black Widow does seem like an alternate name for Spider-Woman, but they are two separate characters. So again, will there be a Black Widow solo movie? A lot of Scarlett Johansson fans have been waiting for that since she made her debut in, I think it was Iron Man 2. She's always just thrown in there in the ensemble. If Wonder Woman really does kill it and proves that a female-led superhero movie can really make money, then I think a Black Widow solo movie is certainly closer to reality. Oh, and comedian Micah says, after the women's only screening, I'm no longer interested in Wonder Woman. Yeah, I think you'll change your mind. I think you'll change your mind. All widows matter. Thank you very much. How about Tom Hardy? Violet Vampire asks. Yes, Tom Hardy is going to be the star of the Spider-Verse. As far as we know, the solo Venom movie, Tom Hardy has been cast as Venom, and this will be separate from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, despite the fact that now Spider-Man is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have more questions than I have answers, but Tom Hardy as Venom seems like an inspired choice. I hope it's good. I have very little faith in Sony's ability to execute these movies. We've seen what they've done before. All right, and he was Bane, Bonin Ronan says. Yes, he gets to be Venom and Bane. You get to collect them all whenever you're a star like Tom Hardy. Okay, so let's jump to the movies you can see on the small screen, or the very small screen if you're using your phone this month. Catwoman. Speaking of strong female superheroes, this is widely regarded as the worst, or certainly one of the worst, superhero movies of all time. And it is now on Netflix. So if you really, really, really want to appreciate Wonder Woman, watch Catwoman, and then just, admire how far we've come. Imagine how much progress has been made since this movie to today for female empowerment. And, good taste in movies. All right, also out now on Amazon and Hulu, Apocalypse Now, Francis Ford Coppola classic, and you can couple this with Full Metal Jacket, which is on Netflix as well, and you can really do the dynamic duo of war movies. This is Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. So another, just throwing in the third director in the iconic directors mix, we have Blue Velvet on Amazon and Hulu from David Lynch, starring Kyle MacLachlan and Dennis Hopper. And if you've been enjoying Twin Peaks on Showtime, this is just classic Lynch for you. And if you've never seen the movie Blue Velvet, you need to watch it, and then literally the words, when the credits start to roll, the next words out of your mouth will be, what the hell did I just watch? But it's worth it. You need to enjoy this movie. It's one in a million. Violet Vampire says, Garfield was better than this in Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, I thought, was a good Spider-Man. I'm not disappointed in the Andrew Garfield portrayal, but the second movie was not very good. That's Sony's fault. All right, what does everyone think of American Gods? Tila Toy asks. You guys let me know. Have you been watching American Gods on Starz, and does it live up to the hype? I am behind, so I don't want to comment on it, but I would love to know what you guys think. And Earwig is asking the same thing. What's American Gods like? Ben has not been watching American Gods on Starz or elsewhere. He doesn't even know what it is. He doesn't know good things. Tila Toy says awful. Awful, really? That's disappointing. See, now you're turning me off from it. So I don't know. If you've been watching American Gods, please share your opinions. All right, so moving on to Netflix, also available now as of today, The Sixth Sense. Yes, You get to see dead people, and you get to see dead people, and you get to see dead people. Everyone gets to see dead people as long as you have a Netflix subscription. So go back in time to when M. Night Shyamalan was the new hot thing that could do no wrong. Back before his name was synonymous with, I'll wait till it comes out on HBO. And really appreciate this amazing movie. Talk about movies that afterwards just leave you scratching your head and your jaw on the floor. That was The Sixth Sense. If you've never seen it, you've been missing out. Okay, another oldie but a goodie, Young Frankenstein hits Netflix. So
Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, thank you, Ben.
Frankenstein.
You do know some things. You know some movies.
It was a musical.
It was a musical? You know musicals. Okay. So that's out. Another one, Ace Ventura Pet Detective hits Hulu.
I've seen that one.
Okay, I want to stop for a moment and let's talk about Ace Ventura. The year is 1994. Jim Carrey is this guy who is known for In Living Color, which I assure you was a TV show once upon a time. This was his breakout role. This is the movie that made Jim Carrey one of the biggest stars in the world. And this is where it all started. This is sort of where he figured out what a Jim Carrey is. And, you know, I think that it's a time capsule. The mid-90s, I think, were the peak of civilization. And Ace Ventura is a part of that. Yes, that's something someone just said. I did. All right. So going back to the 90s, or staying in the 90s, another movie coming out on Hulu, 1993's Free Willy. This is that movie with a whale that gave us a Michael Jackson song. And a lot of people talk about how the documentary Blackfish killed SeaWorld. If Blackfish killed SeaWorld, Free Willy wounded it. So this is out now on Hulu. And another classic on Hulu, Last Action Hero. This is another 1993 movie. It starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. And again, just like we went back to revisit the age of Jim Carrey.
You have such a good Arnold impersonation. Let me see it.
I can't believe that this movie failed at the box office. What is wrong with you? Buy a ticket.
It was better than I thought. I was hoping it would be much worse.
I was off the cut. It wasn't as good. I'm better when I have something to say. But anyway, 1993. Arnold Schwarzenegger ruled the world. He just could do no wrong. And then this movie came out. And it didn't stop him entirely because True Lies came out the next year, and True Lies was awesome. But this was the first sign that Arnold, just like The Rock in Baywatch, Arnold in a movie does not mean instant success. So his downfall began in 1993 with Last Action Hero. It continued in 1996 with Jingle All the Way. Some people love the movie, but it didn't do what it was supposed to. 1997 was the year of the double fail. Batman and Robin, and that whole housekeeper thing. So, and after that, the whole, I don't know what happened to Arnold. I'm assuming he did fine after 1997 and nothing substantial happened in California. So yes, Last Action Hero, go back and rewatch it for the 90s nostalgia, because you know what? You didn't watch it when it came out initially. I know you didn't. Nobody did. All right. So, finishing off our 90s theme, Dances with Wolves is on Hulu. Back when Kevin Costner could do no wrong. Yes, it was the era of Jim Carrey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Kevin Costner. Another movie on Hulu, Con Air. Because let's get some Nicolas Cage in here. Yeah, Nicolas Cage. I wouldn't classify him as a guy that can do no wrong, but he did a lot. He did a lot. He's Nicolas Cage. Then there's another one. This is a personal favorite. Fire in the Sky is on Amazon and Hulu. Fire in the Sky is a movie that is supposedly based on a true alien abduction story. So if you recall, This is the movie that in the trailer, the thing that kept me up at night as a, what would I have been, 11-year-old in 1993. The thing that kept me up at night was the scene where the aliens put a needle in the guy's eye. And now I think back, it's supposedly based on a true story. And were they giving us a subtle hint with the cross my heart and hope to die, stick a needle in my eye? Because they literally stuck a needle in this dude's eye. And yes, Earwig says probing. That was movie safe probing. I think that shortly after 1993's Fire in the Sky, alien probing took on a whole new meaning, and that is something that that year was not ready for. So this is a favorite of mine, and it is well worth watching on Amazon and Hulu, whether it's legit or not. All right, let's take things upscale a bit. The Salesman. The Salesman is that movie that just won Best Foreign Movie Oscar. It is on Amazon, it's on Amazon. It was an Amazon exclusive, just came out in theaters. So there's that. I was meaning to watch it. It's now on Amazon. The reason I didn't go to theaters is because I knew it would be on Amazon. So that's out now. Blue Gold comes out on Netflix the 3rd. Why do I bring up this documentary about jeans? Well, because I lined up a bunch of the interviews for it. That's the only reason I bring it up. So when you watch this movie, a bunch of the people that are interviewed for it are because of this guy right here. But I still haven't watched it yet. But I probably will because it is finally on Netflix. All right, yes, David says probing doesn't happen in the eye. Generally not, generally not. So, and I wonder if this is where the idea for laser eye surgery came from. Fire in the Sky, not Blue Gold, obviously.
Came from NASA.
Came from NASA? Did it really?
Yep.
You know, an astrophysicist, so that checks out. Okay, so another one that is hitting Netflix on the 7th, Trolls. This movie is so damn good. This really is a fun movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and it's clever, it's got good music, and so watch it with your kids or your nieces or your nephews. But you know what? If you don't have kids or nieces or nephews, you can watch it yourself, and it's pretty good. It's a fun movie. I would say that it is close to Pixar quality. It really is, and it's DreamWorks. So good for you, DreamWorks. All right, Sarah says, I loved Trolls. Yeah, me too. So good. And of course, now it will spawn a franchise, and we'll see Trolls 2 and Trolls 3. So not necessarily a bad thing. All right, now Ben, this is your big moment. The next one, on the 13th, this hits Netflix. Oh, Hello on Broadway. And we've already established that you only know about things that have been on Broadway.
Accurate.
Why should I be excited about this?
This is the funniest 2 hours of my life.
Really?
Worth every penny.
When this hit Broadway, Ben was telling me at least once a week, I have to go, I have to see this before it leaves Broadway. And now it's
now you can see it cheaper.
Now you can see it on Netflix because you know what? How many months of Netflix I could get for the same cost of one Broadway ticket?
Depends on how much the Broadway ticket costs, really.
That is technically true, but that it was more rhetorical. More rhetorical.
Yeah.
All right. So Star Trek Beyond comes out on the 17th, Amazon and Hulu. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness, I hated. The JJ movies have so many plot holes. I could complain about them all day, but I won't because Ben, I've already lost our bet. I'm already over your time. But Star Trek Beyond,
How do you all feel about the firmness of Nerd's Rope?
I love Nerd Ropes. They're the best.
Do you think they're appropriately firm?
They are appropriately firm. I'm gonna have to buy my own. We had a little bet. If I could get this under 30 minutes, Ben owed me a Nerd Rope, and we're now at 34 minutes. That doesn't mean I owe you a Nerd Rope, Ben. All right, but anyway, Star Trek Beyond, I actually enjoyed this movie, and I really, really, really hate a lot of the things that J.J. Abrams has done with this franchise, although he did not direct this. Justin Lin directed this, and I think he did a good job. It's a fun movie. I enjoyed it, and it is going to be on Amazon and Hulu on the 17th. Another movie I really enjoyed is hitting Netflix, The Stanford Prison Experiment. This is on the 17th as well. This is a movie about a real-life happening back in, I think it was either the late 70s or the early 80s. Stanford University had an experiment where they took a bunch of students and they randomly made half of them role play as guards and half of them as prison inmates. And then they just watched them and didn't interfere, and a lot of abuses happened. A lot of people, a lot of kids, just normal kids pretending to be prison guards with power going to their heads, abusing people that were in a position of weakness. And so this is a really interesting real life thing that happened. And so I would certainly recommend you check this out. And Ezra Miller, who's playing the Flash in the DC movies now, is really the breakout star of this. He's in a lot of really good artistic movies and important movies. So, John C. Danzo, where is the Fuller House special you guys have promised? I'm keeping you hanging on. John, I know you only watch this because you hope the next time you get the notification from Essential TV, it's a Fuller House show. That is the reason I'm letting it, you know, build up the suspense, and I'm keeping you hanging on. One of these days, I promise you, we will talk about Fuller House at length. But you're gonna have to keep those notifications on because you don't want to miss it. Okay. So a couple more movies. T.J. Miller, Meticulously Ridiculous. This is actually a special on HBO. T.J. Miller plays Ehrlich Bachman on Silicon Valley, and he is really, I think, the breakout star. He's had a bunch of big movie roles, and he was in Deadpool, and they've just announced, sadly, T.J. Miller is not returning to the next season of Silicon Valley. He's simply too big now. He has many things that he could be doing, many big movies. I hope that he comes back in at least a cameo, but in the meantime, you can enjoy the Meticulously Ridiculous HBO stand-up special.
And Goreburger.
And Goreburger. And I just found out about that. Ben, you taught me something. I had not heard of Goreburger. Ben, what is Goreburger?
It's a monster on TV.
And T.J. Miller voices the monster?
And acts out the monster.
So I'm going to have to watch Goreburger now. Smiley asked if we talked about Orange is the New Black. Not yet. Not yet. Stay tuned. All right. This is chronological. On the 20th, Moana hits Netflix. The Rock singing, Disney. It was very good. I want to say that I enjoyed Trolls more. But Moana is still a very good movie. So not disappointed in that. And on the 24th, The Birth of a Nation hits HBO. This is not the racist D.W. Griffith 1915 pro-Klan movie. Quite the opposite. This is the movie about the Nat Turner slave revolt. And I missed this in theaters, but it's coming out on HBO, so I'm looking forward to that. Earwig says, are we going to see a Goonies and Gremlins reboot ever? The answer is probably because Hollywood. I think we'll probably see Gremlins before we see Goonies, just because it feels like Gremlins, they've already done a sequel. It feels like it would be less sacrilegious to do a Gremlins reboot, and especially with technology, the whole idea of Gremlins causing hijinks and messing up technology makes sense. Goonies, though, you cannot outdo Goonies. Don't ever touch Goonies. No remakes, no reboots, not even a sequel. And I'm on the fence about that. Because all the cast, you could bring them back, and they're still very good. But I would still prefer we don't touch Goonies. It's perfect.
Chunk is dead.
Don't mess with... No, he isn't.
In my mind, he is.
Okay. Don't mess with perfection. Okay, Sarah says, my son loves Moana. Yes, Moana was very good. Great, catchy music. And again, The Rock. And The Rock can do no wrong except for Baywatch. Okay. So that is it for movies. Let's go to TV. TV in June. Things that you need to be watching. First of all, Netflix. Arrow Season 5 hits. This is the season that just wrapped. This was the back to basics season because the last few seasons of Arrow on CW have been really critically panned. A lot of fans have said it's not as good as it used to be in the first two seasons. And this was the back to basics season. And from all of the chatter I've seen on the internet, this was very well received. So you can, if you missed it, you can catch up on Netflix starting today, Season 5. Also a CW series on Netflix, The 100, Season 4. So that is out now. there's a new Showtime series coming out on the 3rd called I'm Dying Up Here. And this is about comedy clubs in the 70s. So if you watch the trailer for this and you remember Vinyl, that movie that came out on, or that show that came out on HBO like 2 years ago that failed, Vinyl was about the music scene in the 70s. That was on HBO. This is about the comedy club scene in the 70s. They
With
look
that guy
like
from Ace Ventura Pet Detective.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, the guy from Ace Ventura Pet Detective, is involved in this. So it looks like they could be spin-offs of each other, except Vinyl was a colossal failure. So let's hope that...
it's the HBO Cinematic Universe.
The HBO Cinematic Universe. This one, though, is on Showtime. No crossovers. No
the
crossovers.
premium cable.
It looks good, but so did Vinyl. All right. Fear the Walking Dead comes back this weekend. I could talk a long time about Fear the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead is one of the most disappointing shows on TV. I watch it. Sometimes I enjoy it. But I say it's one of the most disappointing shows on TV because it's never lived up to the premise. They promised us a zombie show set in LA, showing us what happens when the world crumbles, as opposed to like The Walking Dead that is mostly rural, takes place in the woods. Rick was in a coma during the whole, downfall of civilization. We never got to see it. Fear the Walking Dead promised us that and never delivered. This is the 3rd season, 3rd time's the charm. Let's hope they finally live up to the promise of the premise. And Sarah says, still haven't watched it despite my love for The Walking Dead. You're not the only one. I've watched every single episode and I keep waiting for it to be good. And it really hasn't been. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I hate because I love. I want it to be a good show, and it's always a letdown. But the showrunner for this series, who's been with it since the beginning, this is his last season. So after this season, whether this season is good or bad, after this season, a new person is in charge. So I'm going to watch it, just like I have all the other seasons, and I'm going to cross my fingers. There are some legitimately talented actors in here, but it's just never reached that potential. So anyway, it's back this weekend, and I'm gonna watch it because we have to wait till October for the regular Walking Dead, and many of you will watch it too. So anyway, let's complain in the comments because that's what everyone does about this show. I'm included in that. Okay. So another AMC series hitting Netflix, Turn, Washington Spies Season 3. That comes out on the 4th on Netflix. On the 9th, this is the big one. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Orange is the New Black. This is Season 5 on Netflix. And if you remember, all the other seasons of Orange is the New Black, 1, 2, 3, they were self-contained. You could just watch the season. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when the final episode is done, we're chilling. We're good. Last season, Season 4, ended on a cliffhanger for the first time ever. So we have been waiting. The fans of this show have not just been excited for it like we always are for new episodes, but we have been hanging on a cliffhanger. And it starts with a prison riot. And I think this show has always been really good about making social comments and making things like the corrupt prison system relevant for average viewers. And I think this is really the time where I think this could be the most important season. It has the potential. So very excited about that. Let's see. Oh, Ben says, need an all-male Orange is the New Black. It was called Oz. And you should watch it. It's a good, feel-good TV series. It was on HBO. You'll love it. All right. Oh, and Smiley Lova says, Prison Break. Yeah, you could say that as well. All right. So, Orange is the New Black. Let's be honest. You're going to finish it in that weekend. And then we're going to be waiting. We're going to be waiting for another year. Okay. Another show, not to be confused with Orange is the New Black, Orphan Black. Yes, that comes out the next day on BBC America. I'm assuming it also comes out on BBC proper, but I don't have the schedule for that. So, Orphan Black, and this is the final season. So the clone sci-fi drama is coming to an end, and we can catch that in the States on BBC America on the 10th. On the 12th on Showtime, this is big, 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 big. The Putin Interviews. Oliver Stone, who is a world-renowned, iconic director, is the guy behind movies like JFK and Platoon, and he's always been really plugged in politically, obviously. And he sat down to interview the President of the United States, Russia, Vladimir Putin. And so this is going to be airing on Showtime. And it comes out on Showtime in the US on the 12th, but the next day it's airing on Sky Atlantic and Now TV in the UK. Yes, Bone and Ronan says, "Putting Up with Putin." That was probably the working title for this. And you know what? That is a better title than the Putin Interviews. It really is. I'm going to call it that from now on. So, will there be any revelations? I don't know, but I can't believe that he actually agreed to this. So, looking forward to that one. And
it's actually just Beck Bennett on a green screen.
So that should be interesting. And I can't wait. I wonder if Donald Trump subscribes to Showtime, because surely he will be tweeting about it. All right. Suits Season 6 hits Amazon on the 12th. Quantico Season 2 hits Netflix on the 14th. Also on the 14th, this is a new series coming to Sci-Fi called Blood Drive. This is a grindhouse style series. It has been described as sort of like a Death Race 2000 style TV series. And I point this out not just because I point out all the new shows coming out, but Blood Drive is about cars that run on human blood. That was my idea. That was my idea. I couldn't get the technology right. No, in college I actually did a short film about this, about cars that ran on human blood. It was like combining the vampire genre with the car genre, and now it's a sci-fi series. And I don't get any credits on it. So, anyway, looking forward to seeing how they have either improved upon my idea or destroyed it. But either way, I don't get a cent. Okay, and coming to Netflix on the 15th, Season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is the Ghost Rider season. So if you are like me and you've tried to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. several times and you just can't because it's not a good show, this is the Ghost Rider season, and a lot of people have said it is so much better than the previous seasons. I haven't watched it, but it couldn't be much worse. So I might actually catch up on this because I am a Ghost Rider fan. In case you didn't gather that from what I just said about my idea for a movie about cars that run on human blood. Kind of the same wheelhouse, pun intended. Okay, so The Strain Season 3 hits Hulu on the 16th. More sort of vampire zombie stuff happening here. If you are into the genre, you have so many things to watch in quick succession. So The Strain. Also on the 16th, Netflix, El Chapo Season 1. So this is about El Chapo. It's kind of like what they did with Narcos, and I believe it's all foreign language. I believe it's all in Spanish, just like Narcos was with subtitles, except for the English narration. And so we'll see if they can capture lightning in a bottle again, because Narcos was that rare hit that was a foreign language that became a huge thing in the US. Although I didn't hear much about Season 2, El Chapo has the potential to revisit that. Hopefully it does. It's an interesting story. That will be on Netflix. On the 22nd, something I've been looking forward to for a long time. The Mist comes to Spike TV. Okay. If you've watched my shows before, you know that I'm a big fan of the Mist movie. This was a Stephen King story. It had been adapted to a movie by Frank Darabont, who's the guy that also adapted The Walking Dead. So if you watch the Mist movie, it was before the Walking Dead series, and you will see so many familiar faces. So many actors that are in The Mist went on to star in The Walking Dead. So you should really watch The Mist if you're a Walking Dead fan and you've never watched it. There are a lot of really similar themes that happen with The Mist, and so this is a TV series version of that. It is not based on the movie. It is based on the original story, so they will be taking liberties, and you don't have to have seen the movie to watch the Mist TV series, but I would recommend both because I really, really want to see how they adapt this to a series. I get how it works for a movie, we've seen that, but how do you spread this out? Again, this is on Spike TV, so it will be hard to find because Spike is not normally known for this kind of show. They're rebranding, they're becoming the Paramount Network, and this is the first big step in that direction. So that comes out on Spike on the 22nd of June. Okay, the 23rd of June, Glow, Season 1 hits Netflix. Glow stands for the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. This is a series set in the glamorous world of 1980s all-female wrestling, and this is being created by Jenji Kohan. If that name sounds familiar, she's the one that brought Orange is the New Black to us and also Weeds to Showtime. So she really gets this whole like female perspective thing and making it very entertaining and funny and dramatic. And this stars Alison Brie and Mark Maron. So there's a lot of talent behind this, and it looks really, really good. If you've not seen the previews for Glow, you should just do a quick Google and check it out. So that comes out on the 23rd. And we will all be done with the new season of Orange is the New Black by the 23rd. So this will be the next logical thing for you to watch when we're filling those days and waiting for the next season. All right, and finally, on the 25th of June, Preacher Season 2 hits AMC. This is the continuing adventures of the preacher with the godlike power that was originally a comic series that Seth Rogen had tried to adapt for, I think it was like 8 years. He was trying to get this made and finally happened on AMC. It is crazy. It is visually astounding. There's great action. It's funny. It's violent. It didn't get enough viewers on AMC. Frankly, I expected it to do much better, but a lot of people just simply, I don't think, gave it a chance on AMC. But Season 2 is coming out. So go back and binge watch Preacher Season 1 and get ready for Preacher Season 2. Couple comments and questions. Oh, on The Mist, Smiley Lova says, I remember Carol was in it. Yes, The Mist movie, Melissa McBride, who plays Carol in The Walking Dead, was in that. Small role, but really great. Also, you'll see Dale, you'll see Andrea, you'll see some other people that are familiar for other things. Power of Music says there's a TV show I like, but we need more people to enjoy it. It's called Sun Records. Where can we watch Sun Records? Because I think I've seen that before, but that's in the UK, right? I don't know if that's in the US. Wild Vampire points out Power with 50 Cent on Stars. Is that coming back? I haven't caught up. I'm not up to date on Power. Is that coming back or is that back now? So let me know. Yes, and Sarah says, impatiently waiting for Game of Thrones. Winter will eventually get here. We're getting very close. We are going to do a show soon, The Waiting Game of Thrones, where we're simply just twiddling our thumbs and waiting for winter to get here. We'll probably be wearing the jackets, even though it's going to be like 80 degrees out when it happens. All right, Wild Vampire says this Sunday for Power on Stars. So if you want to see that, Power with 50 Cent is coming back. Sorry, I missed it. And Power of Music about Sun Records says it was originally on CMT, but it's now available on Amazon Prime. Okay, that makes sense. So Sun Records, a good recommendation on Amazon Prime now if you missed it. All right, as always, everyone, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and follow and share and retweet and subscribe if you're listening to the podcast. And we'll be back soon with more shows about shows. Very meta here. All right, thanks everyone. And until next time, keep on binging.